Hello weebs and welcome back to a new video on Otaku Fandom. Today we're going to be talking about the Bleach one-shot that came out on August 9th by Kubo, the man, the myth, the legend that created Bleach. So let's go through it. This is basically Kubo's adaptation of Hell because interesting fact is that the Hellsverse wasn't completely written by him. Like the script or the story wasn't written all the way for by him. It was actually written by the writing staff of the studio Pierrot, which I believe that's the rumor because I know there was like a YouTube video that explained this. And anyways, I think this is his redemption of what Hell would have been for in within the Bleach universe because let's be honest, Hellsverse was okay, I guess, and plus with the given powers that Hell gave Ichigo to fight against a person who was originally from Hell. But anyways, past Hellsverse, let's talk about the breaths below. It starts off with a dialogue and it shows two fish, a small fish and a big fish. It goes on to say how the bigger fish had died and that the small fish was alive, and the person who owned these fishes was like really glad that the big fish died for the small one to live. And then we get the scene of Orihime checking on Kazui, who is Orihime and Ichigo's son, if he's sleeping, which it's completely fine. But Kazui's like, oh, I have to go. I have to go to fulfill my promise to this spirit that's by a lamppost. So he goes and does that. But Kon, if you don't remember, Kon is the mob soul that has free will, and it's kind of like the thing that Ichigo uses to have him protect his body. So but he stuffs in a in what's a lion basically, and he wakes up. He says, "Didn't you promise your mom, Orihime, his mom, to that he would fall asleep?" And he said, "Yeah, but I've already made the promise to the wandering spirits." And he jumps off. Kon goes after him as he will be his guardian to look after him. So it's interesting to see Kon in this situation because Kon was a little bit immature when we first met him, but throughout the Bleach series, he's grown a bit, especially with that moment with the girl with the green hair. Because the sad part about Bleach is that there's so much filler that it delayed like the main story. That's what I didn't like about Bleach. Well, the anime, I don't know if the manga was the same, but anyways, like there was the Bount arc. Oh my god, I really hated the Bounce. I was like, what is this? But anyways, aside that, Kazui like he jumps off and a giant fish, koi fish that looks like a cloud or a spirit comes and grabs both Kon and Kazui, and Kazui makes his way to the spirit, which the spirit is crying, and Kazui's like waving at him, and he's like, and the spirit says, "Oh, Kazui," and he's like, "Do you even know how long I've been waiting for you? You're late," and he's still crying. So to make up for this, he Kazui is gonna take him somewhere where there's lots of people, but it's hella suspicious because Kazui is taking them to a shrine at night, and it looks creepy the atmosphere, and then Kazui is like he's like happy and all that stuff. I'm like, oh, this kid is too happy, and they're making their way. They pray to a and Kazui starts like praying, and he claps 3 times, like when you ring a bell in a temple in a Japanese shrine, you clap 3 times. Yeah, basically he does that, and a portal opens up. And what's weird about this portal is designed as a mouth, literally like a mouth. Like has it looks like it has teeth on the bottom and the top of the portal opening. And he goes on to say, "There's people in here. Everyone's here." And we get the title of this one shot, which is "No Briefs from Hell." And we get a conversation. Then we have Baldy. If you remember, he's the third seat of what's his name, Kenpachi's group of Kenpachi's of squad. He's training a girl named Ichika, which later you will find out that's Renji's and no, not Rukia's daughter who's training with Captain Baldy. With Captain Baldy, they're training, and she says, "Oh, that she beat him. Now, for now on, that she should beat the teacher, and you're the student." And he's not having it, obviously. And a woman comes up. A woman, while no, before the woman comes up, they're both fighting. They're both fighting, and she wants to go to the human world apparently, as he finds that out in the living world, and then he says, "Oh, you want to see Kazui, don't you?" And she blushes for a little bit and says, "No, that's not the reason. You're such a dummy teacher, dummy." And then a woman pulls up, and I was like, "Yo, who is this woman? I really don't know." But she pulls up, walks in, and interrupts the training and their conversation. So then Renji, we get a scene with Renji speaking to Ichigo. Ichigo is giving out menus. Apparently, he has his own ramen shop called Spirit Ramen, and he's attending to the customers and all that stuff while talking to Renji. As Renji's like saying, "Hey, we need you to come to the Soul Society because because I want you to attend a captain's burial ceremony." And he's like, "Isn't that like only for Soul Reapers?" Yeah, but Captain Ukatake, which is the guy with the white hair who gave Ichigo the substitute Reaper and he said, since he gave you that, I think it's more than any your right to come and attend the funeral. But while in the while in the interruption, yeah, Rukia comes in and she talks about how now they're able to see television shows from the world of the living, and she goes on to talk about the new cell phones that everyone has and everything. Basically, taking the conversation that originally Renji had with Ichigo off the rails. And then the soul guy, one of the main men, who is part of the research and development uh, department in the Soul Society, appears, which I forget his name. It's the guy who changes his face, has like blue gold eyes, blue hair, and has like that Zanpakuto that's a giant baby that that produces poison, which is creepy. He interrupts their conversation, and he goes on to talk about the battle that they had in all that stuff, and they said that that's not, and he goes on to say, "Oh, this is not my body," and he has so he goes on to say that there's a message for all the assistant captains, and Ichika comes in, walking back from training, and she hides behind a tree and looks at the guy, the guy from creation. I really don't know some of these captains, and the other ones I do, but this one I don't because I don't like him at all. So he goes on to say that, yeah, the preparations for the is tonight, and that the assistant captains must assemble in the living world, like all that stuff. So she hears that Mono. Wait, hold up. His name is Koro Tushiki. What? Okay, Koro Tushi Totsushi. So Koro Toshushi is the name. I don't know. I don't know. Some of these names are hard to pronounce. So we get the introduction to like the characters, like the new characters, like the new assistant characters for certain groups. Like for instance, we meet the seventh company barracks assistant captain, which is Akatu Ata no Atao, which apparently he's very close to animals, and we see images of the squad two, and the first, and the squad one, and then we have a scene where he's just talking to the birds and all that stuff, creatures, and then we have a shot of Hitsugaya with Rangiku next to him, and he has like the face. Oh my god! And Ichika's like hiding behind and hearing more information on this. We get also imagery from the ninth barrack, etc., etc. And now we are going to the scene where they're preparing the hunting of a hollow and killing a hollow in front of Barrier. So basically, when a captain dies, they have the assistant captains capture a hollow and kill that hollow in front of them, while the remaining captains, the captains that are alive, pay attention and just observe, observe. So. And they have to do this in the living world for some reason. So now everyone is gathered. Ichigo and Renji are having conversation, and then it goes like, "Hey, do you want to fight me?" Renji's like goes on and says, "You want to fight me for something that said?" And then Rangiku comes into the conversation, and Ichigo goes on to say, "Hey, I'm actually a translator. When I'm not working in the ramen shop, I'm actually translating things." And that they're surprised that he's become this smart, intelligent, cool, mature man. And then we meet some of the vice captains or assistant captains. We meet the eighth captain's assistant captain, the eighth division's assistant captain, which is Yu Yaya Yaya Hara, and she's a gal basically. By the looks of it, she's a gal. Like, oh, it's funny because she, as soon as she sees Ichigo, she bumps straight through it and wants to take a picture with her. And we see images of Ichigo uh, uh, who sneaked across the gateway to get to the land of the living, because she wanted to go to the land of the living, and she sneaks around, and there's like a hell butterfly around her, near her, because she has left the gate. I forget what it's called, the spirit gate. And Ichigo like notices something. She looks at her father and Ichigo, and she sees this weird creature. It looks like a hollow, but it isn't. It's like, how do I explain it? It's like it looks like a pair of scissors, to be honest, with the handles where we put our fingers to cut hair. It has its own hands, and it has legs, and and a torso of ribs, and they don't see it for some reason. And then Ichika screams out father, and Ichika's like, "Yo, what are you doing here?" And then they finally notice it, and Ichigo cuts down his head, the arm, and now they're aware of the threat, and now more of these creatures are shown up, and they look like hollows. It's like, but how couldn't we be able to detect them? And now all the vice captains are like taking position, and then Ichika comes running to her father and starts crying. And now we see what each new vice captain used. Like, for instance, Atao has a Zanpakuto that allows them to summon Shikigami paper dolls, and these paper dolls could be turned into creatures, which he summons a flock of hawks to attack. And Yaya technically is like a like a demi-human, like a beast, a beast man. Like, she has claws, and her claws is cutting through these weird creatures, and showing she's showing her strength off and all that stuff. And like, apparently her Zanpakuto relates to creatures as well. And like a bear or a wolf shows up behind her, like an image of that she has, and she puts her hands like a jaw formation and rips the head off the supposed hollow in front of her. Then there's this guy with three horns on his head. He's trying to fight a hollow, but it's not working. No, it worked, and then another hollow comes in, a flying hollow, and then my dude, I know his song Pakto, but I don't know the name of this guy. He had like an important role in like another filler arc of Bleach, which I don't want to talk about because I really hated that arc. He shows up, swings his sword while Biscuit, and what Biscuit's ability was to overweigh something by depending on how many touches the sword had touched the object. I remember that. That's the one Zanpakuto I remembered. Yep, and he hit it 7 times, so he would be 7 times heavier than his normal is normal. And then we see this black ooze show up, and it's behind Renji, and Renji turns around, and it's a familiar face because it's a what were they called? An Arankar. It's one of the Arankars who they fought during the when they went to Waco's Mundos. Waco's Mundos, yeah, and it's the guy with the pink hair who was a scientist, had glasses, had like a little jar that could control like organs of people or soul reapers that they. I don't remember his name. Oh, his name is Zela Lapadora. So what? Zela Palora, Zela Palora, Paloro, Poro, which was the guy, and they're surprised to see him because he was dead, and he's there talking about how hell has the balance has what's it called? The balance of hell and all that stuff is gone, like has been unbalanced due to the death of the king of the Quincy's, which I can't pronounce. There's like some names in this I can't pronounce, and Eisen. Apparently, Eisen died. I did not remember that, and Renji's like, "What?" And he's just laughing, and sees that he has a daughter, and he's like, "Oh, you don't have to tell me the answer. I know that that's your daughter, so I'm gonna start by killing your daughter." And he said, "No." He says, "What? How would you feel if I start killing your daughter?" And then he just runs away, and the guy's like, and then the guy sends like these black whips to come after him, but then Ichigo comes in to cover them, and then he just goes on to scream, "I'll kill you, Ichigo Kurosaki," and he's like, "Who the hell are you?" Because I don't think he fought him, and then there's like, in the I don't know if this is in the Soul Society or in the World of the Living. He's So Soifon's about to touch these little black spears that are around them, but one of the captains, he's my favorite. I forget his name. A name. He's the one with the long strand of hair across his head and wears a straw hat on him, like a traditional straw hat. And he just cuts through that thing before she could touch it, and it's sizzling on his Sanpakuto, and he's like, it's called phosmophobia, plasm from which is from hell. He's like, how the hell is this? And there's a thing called class spirit. And then he goes on to say, let me tell you an old wives' tale that's been told within the Soul Society. So he goes on to tell about the actual thing that happens in the Soul Society with you know any member of the Genki 13. I think that was the Gote 13, all the squads from lower, I think vice captain to lower, all the way to the last seat. Their reishi will be spread throughout the Soul Society, the Soul Society. So he talks about how that, but the truth with captains, it's much different. They send the captains to hell by themselves. So the whole burial ritual thing, they're sending their captains to hell because their reishi can't be can't go like spread out to everywhere. They can't spread to the Soul Society, so they have to send them directly to hell. So that's why that a former Arankar is like going on a tangent, saying that you have sent your comrades to hell, and that the balance is beginning to collapse because major key powerful players like the King of the Quincy's, Solskin Eisen, who was considered as a very powerful entity, had died in the Thousand Year War, and they've been sent to hell. And now with sending Captain Yamamoto and Unohana, which if you haven't read the manga, Unohana was considered the actual was considered the former Kenpachi, but Kenpachi and Urahara had fought each other, but she reframed herself to becoming a healer because she was so sad that she put fear in Kimpachi, and so she decided like before I revert to my original self, I'm gonna devote myself to be a healer, and then when the time comes that he has to become take place of the Kenpachi, I will fight him and heal him until his fear of me is gone, and then he has to kill me because Kenpachi has a major respect for Onohana, and sometimes he's afraid of her. As there's when they were filming that movie. Oh my god, that filler arc. Let's not talk about that. But anyways, yeah, blah blah blah. She's dead because by Kenpachi because Kenpachi had to kill her in order to unlock his full potential, and Yamamoto died when fighting against the king of the Quincy's, which was Heiach. Wait, what's his name? Hayawatch. I don't know. It's German, I think. I may be wrong. And he goes on to say this, and he says now today they're gonna take Ukitake, Jushiro Ukitake, to hell as well. And he's gets stabbed instead of getting stabbed by anyone else. He gets stabbed by something, and I believe what killed him was Ukitake himself, because the blade, like how it looked like, it looks similar to how Zanpakuto looks like. So what happens next is that he gets killed, and he goes on to say, "Huh, you're early," and is getting pulled into hell, basically saying, "Hey, the ritual's done," because he was formerly a hollow, and he still is, but under the specs of hell. He's been designed, and now he's getting pulled back to hell, and he's surprised. I forgot to mention that Rukia talks to the captain that was telling the old wives' tale, and she goes on to say, does that mean Ukitake's soul is going to hell? Because she was surprised that this was going to happen, because she admired her captain, and her captain giving her the position that she was, and how kind of a person he was, and how much he sacrificed in the Thousand Year War, and how much he suffered throughout the years holding this sickness while also holding the Soul King's right hand or left hand. It's incredible. And then he said, those beasts that we sent from that you just massacred from hell, they were technically Soul Reaper. They were technically hollows. So you basically just did the ritual in front of him. So, and he's getting pulled in, and he's surprised, and the image of the soul of the substitute Soul Reaper badge is like on his that's inside his Soul Reaper clothes is showing, and he's getting pulling. I'm going home. You can think about this on your own terms, and he's going in, and the hell butterflies a hell butterfly shows up, and the skeleton eyes on the doors are showing, and then we see an image of Kazui like walking down, like he's on top. I think he's either on top of a pole or he's on the sidewalk, and he's just smiling. And now the way that the text of the title of this one shot is like split in half, like hell is split from HE to LL, and from is also split, and it ends like that, and we see like two hell butterflies as well. Well, so it's an interesting concept, because this could lead to Shonen Jump allowing uh Kobu to make another arc, to continue the arc, so we could get more of a understanding of hell and what's the new threat that we're looking at. It's very interesting, and I can't wait if it does happen. So um yeah, gonna be hopefully having a new order, uh, a new video coming out later this week, hopefully Friday, because I still have to do some research on the topic, and it's Tokyo Revengers. I'm gonna be starting to do based on arcs, like the July slash August incident that happens in, which is the beginning of Tokyo Revengers, and then Bloody Halloween, and then the Dragon. the black dragons. But anyways, that's going ahead. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and like and share this video, please. I would desperately would like for you to do that. And this is my cue to go. Okay, peace.